It started with screaming. Not the playful kind you hear on a school trip, but the kind that crawls into your skin and tells you something is very, very wrong. The 15 students from Ridgeview High had been brought to Blackthorn Castle for what was supposed to be a team-building weekend. It was old, stone, and enormous, like something straight out of a horror story. The teachers had gone missing after dinner, the bus was gone, and then the heavy iron gates slammed shut. And that's when Mason laughed. Mason, captain of the football team, self-proclaimed king of Ridgeview. The one who ruled through fear, who humiliated others for fun, and who'd made half the students their dread coming to school. "Relax," he said, leaning against the wall, a flashlight beam slicing across his smug face. "We're all locked in together. No one leaves until I say so." He wasn't joking. Mason had planned it. The trip, the isolation, the locks. He'd bribed a security guard to vanish, taken the keys, and turned the weekend into his own twisted game. For the first few hours, the students tried to reason with him. But when the doors wouldn't budge and their phones lost signal, panic started to spread. Mason laughed harder. He had food, flashlights, and control. Everyone else had fear. Except one girl. Lena. She'd been quiet since the trip began, small, observant, the kind of student who blended into the background. Mason barely remembered her name. But that was exactly how she wanted it. While the others begged and cried, Lena watched. She noticed how Mason's confidence cracked when the lights flickered, how he flinched at every distant creak of the castle. He wasn't as fearless as he pretended to be. She also noticed something else: the castle wasn't abandoned. That night, as the others huddled in the main hall, Lena slipped away. She moved through the halls like she knew the place. Because she did. Blackthorn Castle wasn't just some random destination, it was where Lena had spent every summer before her parents died. Her uncle had been the caretaker. She knew every hidden corridor, every secret passage, every weak floorboard. And she knew how to fight back. By morning, the fear had turned into chaos. Mason was getting angrier. Someone had taken half the food from his stash. Someone had locked him out of one of the wings. He stormed through the castle, shouting names, demanding answers. The students followed him, afraid not to. Then the whispers began. "Did you hear that? Someone's upstairs. I saw a light in the tower last night." Mason tried to laugh it off, but even he looked nervous now. By the second night, strange things started happening. His flashlight would flicker and die, only to turn back on pointing somewhere else. Footsteps echoed when no one moved. Messages appeared on the dusty mirrors: "You can't hide here." The others started to believe the castle was haunted. But Lena knew better. She was the ghost. She used every hidden path. Her uncle had shown her to move unseen. She locked doors, took supplies, created sounds that made Mason lose sleep. Every ounce of fear he had given others, she fed it back to him. But it wasn't revenge she wanted. It was justice. By the third night, Mason snapped. He cornered one of the smaller kids, Trevor, accusing him of stealing food. He shoved him against a wall, screaming until the boy cried. That's when Lena stepped out of the shadows. "Let him go, Mason." He spun around, furious. "You think you can tell me what to do?" She met his glare. "I'm not telling you. I'm warning you." The others watched in silence. No one had ever spoken to Mason like that before. He laughed, though his voice shook a little. "You're nothing, Lena. You're nobody." Lena's expression didn't change. "You think you're in control here, but you've been walking into my trap since the first night." "What trap?" She reached into her pocket and pulled out the keys, the same ones Mason thought he had hidden. "This one." Mason froze. "You planned to lock us in," she said, stepping closer, "but you forgot whose castle this is." He lunged at her, but before he could touch her, the floor beneath him cracked. Lena had loosened the wood earlier. Mason fell halfway through, his leg trapped between the boards. He screamed as she and two others pulled Trevor away from him. For the first time, the bully was powerless. By morning, Lena had used the emergency radio hidden in the caretaker's room to call for help. The authorities arrived, freed the students, and took Mason away. No one cheered. No one mocked him. They just watched in silence as he was let out, because they finally understood what real strength looked like. It wasn't about power or fear. It was about courage, the kind that stands up, even when it's shaking. When the reporters came, they called Lena a hero. She just smiled softly and said, "I'm not a hero. I just stopped being afraid." But that wasn't the full truth. Because Lena hadn't just stopped being afraid, she'd turned her fear into a weapon. And in doing so, she'd freed 15 students, not just from a castle, but from years of silence. The story spread across Ridgeview like wildfire. And something changed at that school. Students started standing up for each other. Teachers paid attention. The word bully stopped being something people whispered about. All because one quiet girl decided that she wouldn't be the victim anymore. And the next time someone tried to make others feel small, the students of Ridgeview just smiled and said, "Be careful. You never know who the trap really is." Moral: courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispers, "Not this time."